Hi, this is Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. Call us at 888-988-JOSH for the free review. It's a 2-for-1 special, an estate planning consult and a financial planning consult at no charge. Next up, Bill. He wants to leave his rental property to the family. Go ahead, Bill. That's a good question. So go ahead, Bill, and then I'll follow it up.
Yeah, good morning, Josh, and thank you, Louis, for coming on. I had a quick question regarding investment property. Under the present tax law, is it true that if I have a couple of investment properties that have gone up in value and I want to pass it on to my heirs, that the heirs will get it on a stepped-up basis?
True, absolutely true, and that leads into one of the other Biden proposals, and that is to eliminate the step-up in basis. But and actually, there's a more aggressive proposal to accelerate the tax on the gain at death. So if you have appreciated properties and you die, not only do they not get a step-up in basis, but they pay tax on the gain at your death. That's one of the proposals that is floating out there, which I think would be a complete and utter disaster. But under current law, your heirs get a full step-up. That's a double bang when you have a property that's a rental property, because not only can they sell it and pay no tax, but their new basis is what the depreciation schedule is based on. So they basically get to redepreciate the value of the property at its market value on your date of death. So it's a very, very good win-win. Step up in basis and the new depreciation schedule.
Yeah, I'm. What do you think the chances are of the Biden getting that one through? Do you think that's a good shot at it, or do you think that might? It
has a lot of air on it. They've done this twice. In my 36 years of practicing law, they've eliminated the step up in basis twice, and within 6 months went back and rolled it back and put the step up back in. And Josh can tell you, trying to track basis on some securities where they've just been inherited or gifted, trying to track basis on businesses and real estate is extremely difficult. And the capital gains step up is something that helps not only wealthy families, but if kids inherit mom and dad's house and they get a step up in basis and they sell the house, if they have to pay 20, 25, 30% of that in capital gains tax, that's hitting very middle class people. And the Biden administration has said they didn't want to do that. So there are a lot of problems with eliminating step up in basis. Hopefully we'll keep that step up. That's one of the taxes that I think is going to have trouble getting through, because that's a middle class tax item.
Louis, I can't thank you enough, and thank you for confirming that. It is a double bang positive the way it is now, and I just wanted to confirm that. Josh, thank you for having Louis on. Have a great rest of your weekend, and happy Easter. Thank you.
Happy Easter. Hope you all had a blessed Passover and wonderful resurrection Easter season. It's a great time.
It is.
You get to
so the last
do eggs. You get to do. Oh, hey, Louis, I want to talk about the season for a minute now. Enough of this boring stuff, right? No.
All right.
Did you do any?
I had a cliffhanger, though.
I know. I want the cliffhanger. And I actually have a question on real estate, too. And then we have another listener question, but I love the eggs. I love Easter eggs and the tradition of doing eggs. But now I have so many kids. I have 6 kids. So I don't get to do the eggs anymore. I did one egg where I put little cross and an empty tomb, and then my 1-year-old took it from me. So it was a lot of fun. And we also did a Seder. So we had a Seder. That was fun as well. Mm-hmm. My wife does a Seder every year. So let's talk about the cliffhanger. Go ahead.
So the one tax, that was a great segue into capital gains tax, because that is in play and bringing it up to ordinary income tax rates for high net worth individuals. But the income tax is also in play. It's right now at 37% top rate, going to 39.6%. But there was a tax law that passed under Trump that a lot of people are unaware of, called the Secure Act. And You deal with this every day.
Yeah, I hated
Josh,
the
because you're
Secure Act.
counseling-
I hated the Secure Act. But go ahead.
A lot of our clients don't know what the impact of that is on.
Yeah, people are still clueless of the Secure Act because of COVID. So they were like asleep at the wheel. And the Secure Act was one of the worst things for middle-class wealth distribution in years. I mean, you used to be able to do a stretch IRA. And here's the thing, a lot of these things that are meant to tax the rich are really hurting middle-class distribution of wealth. So I don't know why they just don't pass some law taxing Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, Google, because they're not even going to really pay these taxes anyway because they spend a lot on their business. So they're able to write off their investment, like Bezos buying the Washington Post or whatever. So talk about that. Go ahead.
So people now, when they inherit an IRA, unless they're disabled or chronically ill, there are some exceptions to this rule, they have to take it out over 10 years. So during your lifetime, you're pumping all your money into the 401k, the 403b, the IRA, but it's a ticking time bomb. And that bomb's going to go off when your heirs inherit it, because now they have to pull it out, and they're going to be pulling it out at probably 39.6% income tax rate, plus whatever their state superimposes on top of that. So your clients and mine need to think about how they're structuring those IRAs. Roth conversions are a strategy that a lot of clients are looking at now because of the tax increases on the income tax side that are looming. And we also are pulling more money out and creating life insurance and perhaps putting that life insurance in trust. That creates a tax-free benefit to the heirs. So paying some tax now on the IRA distributions, putting it into a life insurance policy, holding that in trust, that's fully tax-free. And there are some charitable strategies that we work in. The best dollars to leave to a charity are IRA retirement plan dollars, because remember, the charity is tax exempt. So if you think you're going to leave cash to a charity, don't do it. Leave your IRA, or a portion of your IRA, because they get 100 cents on a dollar. Leave the cash to your children, your grandchildren. They get 100 cents on a dollar from that.
No, fantastic. And I'll throw in another one when we return, another tip. But folks, Congress is coming for your money. A devastating new law has just been enacted called the Secure Act. Serious consequences for anyone holding an IRA, pension, or 401k. Fortunately, there are still steps you can take to, reenact a tax plan. Call us today, 888-988-JOSH, for the 2-for-1 special. Lewis mentioned some, and we can mention others in a 45-minute strategy session. And he's been so gracious to give a session with him as well and his team. 888-988-JOSH, 888-988-JOSH. We'll be back after these messages. Okay, we're back. This is Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback, and we have Ron, who's calling us at 888-988-JOSH with his question. Go ahead, Ron.
Hi, thanks to both of you for taking my call. My father passed away in 2019, and although he owed no federal estate tax, we filed an estate tax return to preserve the excess unused portable exemption. When my mother passes, do you think that that portable exemption will still be able to be applied to her estate?
Lewis, I'll give you that one.
Question. And a technical question. It's called the deceased spouse's unused exemption, or the DSU. We acronymize everything. And when one spouse dies, you file a tax return within 9 months, and whatever exemption they did not use can be ported over to the surviving spouse. So in effect, you get to double the exemption from 11.7 to 23.4, even though nothing was taxed in the first spouse's estate. They haven't really given us any detail, but here's how I think that will play out. The amount of ported exemption should stick. So if you ported the full 11.7 million now based upon one estate, the survivor will have whatever's left of their exemption, whether it's 5 million or 3.5 million. I do believe that you'll keep the full ported exemption from the first spouse's death, because that is the amount locked in on the estate tax return. And so you should be able to keep that exemption at full level The surviving spouse will be subject to whatever estate tax exemption there is in effect at the time of their death.
So,
Hope that answers.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is that whatever exemption was not used up on my father's estate, you expect will still be available to my mother's estate.
Yes. That's the anticipation. We don't have any detail on that, but that's anticipated because once you file that Form 706, the estate tax return, that's a locked-in number. So I don't think they're going to go back and claw back at that.
Sounds like there might be some good news even with all these changes.
We hope so.
Well, there's good news if you act. A lot of people do not act. They procrastinate. I think now is the time to act. I don't think, unless we have a Republican take over of Congress in 2022, which looks possible in Congress, but not the Senate. If you have a Republican Congress, a Democratic Senate, and Democratic president, if they get something passed now, it's not going to be repealed. And things could just keep getting worse, by the way. There's no every day they seem to be passing new laws. There's a very aggressive side to things. The Bernie Sanders wing of the Democratic Party is taking over, and they want significant tax increases. So I think a lot of you have procrastinated when we've told you, hey, do planning. Now is the time to do planning. Louis, any concluding thoughts? We have a minute left.
I couldn't agree with you more. Procrastination is the enemy, and some people try to wait and just try to make it perfect, but don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Get a plan in place. You can always build on it. You can always modify it. Build your foundation. And I love the quarterback theme. Have a quarterback that can lead you through that process and make sure that all of your ducks are in a row, because you never know. Things happen, life happens. Be prepared for that. And so, great show, Josh.
Thank you for joining us. Louis Pierro has been so gracious to offer a free strategy session for those of you who schedule and keep your no obligation review at 888-988-JOSH. Call us today for the no obligation consultation.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Jelensky Advisory Group.
Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications, including 5-Star Wealth Manager, Advisory of the Year finalist by Senior Market Advisor, and top of the $1 Million Roundtable, are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Josh Jelensky or Wealth Quarterback LLC. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Wealth Quarterback website at www.jelensky.org. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions in securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice. Due to various factors, including changing market conditions, the information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up to date, Josh Jelensky and Wealth Quarterback do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature, is provided for informational purposes only, and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation.
Advisory services offered through Wealth Quarterback LLC.